my dear friends, my dear Latino family, my American family. God bless you on this beautiful, beautiful day that we have here today. I am actually in Roatan, the Bay Islands of Honduras, which are very beautiful. There is a lot of talk about with the locals. You know, I didn't go around recording with my camera. I have my GoPro, but I didn't do like official interviews over here. I don't want to come here to start bothering people. I want to come here and have a good time with my daughter on a vacation that has been well overdue. So, with that introduction being made, I'd like to start talking about our immigration issues. I know last time I started talking with Latin countries supporting Hamas and Iran's terrorist regime, how they twist, you know, the defensive stand from Israel against its enemies. And it's interesting that none of these countries stand with Israel. None of them say, hey, Israel, stop defending yourself. No, they call Israel a regime. And if you guys get on, if you happen to come on to this live and you want to ask some questions, you can. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to any comments today, to be honest, but I have gone around here and I have been talking to people about, well, one, what do they think about the president here? And one of the things that, you won't believe me, not one person here in the island has told me that they like the Honduran president. The female president that a lot of people wanted to be in office because they thought if we have a female president in office, then everything is going to be better because, you know, the man is always in charge. It's time for a change. Let's get a woman in there. They don't care about qualifications. They don't care about any present conditions. I don't want to just say previous history, but any present conditions. Yeah, they don't like her here, which is interesting because the last president was being, I guess he was being trial for drug deals and, you know, corruption in government. And I know that his brother, right, the president Orlando's brother, was a drug dealer. You know, he's whatever you want to call them, drug lords. But because they're brothers, you know, they implicated the president. Now, I came here during the time that he was president, and I heard all these allegations, you know, a lot of people don't like him, and this and that. But in all honesty, Orlando was one of the very few, if not the only president that put a big stop to gang activities here in Honduras. He didn't eradicate it, but he did put a big stop. And Francisco, and a lot of opinions, you know, back and forth. At least the answers that I got from a lot of the Hondurans in the mainland was a lot different than the answers that I got from the people here in the Roatan and the Bay Islands of Honduras. Interestingly enough, everybody in the island loved Orlando, the president that is now in jail in the United States. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I saw a lot of roads being made. Before that, there was a small structure growing slowly, but millions and millions of dollars that were sent to Honduras to help with structure and to help the people, to help with poverty, were being stolen by presidents. Now, while the Orlando administration, you know, they're now in jail, they built a lot of infrastructure for the country. And yes, they made money on side deals, but they also have helped a lot. And I can tell you, many business owners have told me that thanks to President Orlando, they were able to actually do business without being harassed by gangbangers. And it's interesting because Nayib Bukele, the president from El Salvador, eradicated that. El Salvador is known to be one of the most peaceful countries in the world. I love. And even though Orlando put a lot of stop to a lot of gang activity, he didn't eradicate it. So they're still around, they still try to intimidate people, but you just don't see them anymore. There are very few here and within and between. Some people say that Orlando just kind of, just stopped some of it so that he looks good. But when you look at the physical aspect of Honduras during his presidency, Honduras went up big time, a lot. And I'm not going to say that he was perfect. I'm not going to say that, there was no money being laundered anywhere. I don't know everything. But, at least I still believe he was innocent for the most part. With that being said, there's signs over here that says, Xiomara sí cumple. And that means that, that the president, Xiomara, she fulfills, whatever promise she has made, she fulfills it and makes it happen. What I find interesting is this time, before with Orlando, I had back and forth, negative, positive with the president, but with this female president that we have here in Honduras right now, it has been 100%. Nobody likes her in the mainland. Nobody likes her in the island. It is unbelievable that, the people voted someone in that they thought was going to be a change for the country. There is a gentleman, he was a news anchor for sports, I believe is what his main journalism is. His name is Salvador Nasralla. And guys, if I pronounce the name in Spanish the way that it's supposed to be, I'm not trying to fake an accent. This is the way I know that the name is being pronounced, and it should be pronounced. So Salvador Nasralla. See, I can't even say it in English, even with an accent. So the name is Salvador Nasralla. He ran as vice president with this female president, Xiomara. And when they got in office, in the administration, and this is exactly what all corrupted politicians do, and is the first big sign that people should have looked at here in Honduras. They had told him that he was going to be in charge of a certain project because this is what he was interested. He was interested in helping the Honduran people. He really, really wanted to help the communities. And he doesn't take BS, right? So when the president came in office, she benched him, the vice president, and didn't let him do anything for the country. And then she started running the country the way her husband did, which was also a president previously before her. Now I tell you this because, like any other country, there is good things and then there's bad things. There's corrupted politicians, but then there is politicians that do want to fight for the people. I see this all the time in Congress, in Senate, in the United States of America. I see, excuse me, I'm kind of getting over whatever the hell I was sick with. I know a couple of the people in the house have COVID, so I probably had COVID, and I've been having this chest pain, but it's gone. We've been having fun. I want my daughter to make the best of this trip. We can't make it every year, even if we're in the state, the land of opportunity, the land of the dreamers, and all this other stuff. I pay a lot of freaking taxes in Washington State, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today. So if you're interested in knowing about how you're being taxed so much, stay tuned. We're going to hit that a little bit. So I tell you these things about the president here in Honduras, which is a female. I want to point that out because this is what people wanted. And then the vice president, which is a male, which is okay. He seems kind of a little lefty, weird to me, but he seems to be one to fight for the people, so I guess I'll support him. A lot of people have said that if he runs for president, they will vote for him. They cannot wait for President Xiomara to leave office. They're corrupted, and there's another female trying to run for president that's even worse than her. Can you imagine this? Like, how the hell can you run for office? Like, when people know how corrupted you are, and now the people are saying there's no way that most of the country is that stupid. And I'm going to tell you how it works here in Honduras. And this is kind of like how, I mean, I hate to pick on Muslims, but here we go. This is how Muslims convert people. And this is exactly the strategy that politicians use in third world countries. They do it in the United States, but it's just a little different playing field. Excuse me. Here we go. So they will, the politicians who will campaign in the mainland, I hope you guys can hear. Hi, Alan. 504, baby, let's go. Saludos, saludos. Here we go. So the politicians, they run campaigns. Now, if you're from Honduras and you say, and you know that what I say is true, go ahead and give me a shout out. They campaign on the cities, on the major parts of the cities, and then in small little faraway cities out in the country, they just put signs, right? And somebody goes around talking about them, but they don't really do anything for those people. Okay, so what happens is they do this big campaign. They convince as many people as they can. A lot of them get paid to go out there and pretend to be supporters, and they give the most hungry people a small benefit, let's say some food, even some money, because they're the most needed, they're the most desperate. And these are the people that they convince to vote for them. And then once they vote for them, they forget about them and they don't care. There is a lot of infrastructure here in Honduras that should be prioritized, like roads. If we have all the roads that we need fixed here in Honduras, especially because it's a very mountainous terrain, the economy would go up. I think the economy would be so huge if they fix a lot of the roads that go through the small towns. Because you have to understand this, in the small towns, there's a lot of farming. There is a lot of people that work so hard and they need to make money so that they can also spend in the country. And I think that a lot of people don't think about that. But here we go. This is what's happening here in Honduras. Now, I've asked people, hey, so what do you think about Donald Trump? You guys ready for this one? And listen, I don't care if you like him or if you don't like him. I support Donald Trump, but I have my reasons, okay? I'm not a Republican by heart. I'm not a Democrat by heart. I am simply a patriot. And I was trained to be a patriot here in Honduras, that I was going to fight for the people and I was going to respect and love this land. And I still do. Even though now I am a Honduran American, I still love this land. Now, before we get into Donald Trump, I want to clarify something that some of you guys have had so much beef with me about, saying the United States is the only country that makes Americans. Let's clarify something. We have North America, Central America, and South America. Now, North America goes from Belize, Mexico, United States, Canada, etc. That's all North America until it gets to the pole. And then we have 5 countries in Central America, which Honduras is one of them. Now, this is the only flag that has 5 stars in here. This is the only country that has been selfless enough to include the other countries in the flag. Check that out. Honduras is in the middle. Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. The only flag that has respect for the other 4 countries in Central America. With that being said, now you have South America, from Panama, Brazil, all the way down to Argentina, down to Peru, all that stuff, right, until it gets to the South Pole. Here's the reason why I say Americans are made in the United States of America. Now, the name might be the same, but the nationality is what gives you your name. You're not going to call a Mexican an American. They will laugh at you, or they'll probably just get mad at you, right? So I want to clarify that. The United States of America is the only one country that creates Americans. And that's why I say that. So for all you pendejos out there that don't understand that, know that. Of course I'm Central American, but I'm Honduran. That's my nationality. We don't call ourselves like the Africans do. If you're born anywhere in the continent of Africa, they call themselves African something, right? We don't do that in America. We go by our nationality and that's it. All right, so here we go. So I asked people about Trump, and a lot of people know about Trump here. And one of the interesting things that I have found that people always talk about, and this is what pisses me off about the media, the legacy media. Here, Univision is the most powerful, let's say, influencer in media and legacy media. Univision talks constantly, 100% constantly. I am very proud of where I'm from too, babe. Precious, that is my wife, guys, if you are wondering. Thank you for your words, love. Appreciate you. Now you throw me off. This is why you don't want your wives to be in the chat from when you're out of the country. Now you made me lose my train of thought. So Univision shows 100% negativity for Donald Trump. They show, well, I guess in the United States, CNN, NBC, whatever, right? Some of these news channels, they show illegal immigrants being deported, right? Windows being busted out, and dragging the people out of the cars. And they go into workplaces and they grab and drag these people out. Well, it's getting worse. And I think it's gonna go even worse than that. Because here's the thing, when people come into the country illegally, they will be deported one way or another, right? And as Barack Obama said, if you are in the country illegally, you will be deported. And as Barack Obama said, if you try to cross or you cross the border illegally now, chances of you being caught and being deported just doubled. This is Barack Obama's words. Today he says something different because now Donald Trump is using the law of immigration to deport these people. Now, let's go back to the beginning of that and say when illegal people come into the country, they will get deported one way or another. So what happens now? The Biden administration allowed millions and millions of illegal people, and he had help from blue states like Washington State, Oregon, California, the major one, and I believe New York is another one. These people, these governors, this administration from the Democrats have allowed for millions and millions of illegal immigrants to come into their state and defend them in their blue cities, as we call them. And why do they do that? Because they get money, they get funds, and they get more seats in the government, which means that if they were to be a complete 100% tyrannical government, they would be, and they will get away with it because they will always have the majority behind them. Now, I'm going to say this to the American people. If you don't fight to make these people respect your land, love your land, or get out, follow the law, respect the immigration law, they will destroy our country. This is not fake. This is a fact. And so now that you have the Biden administration and these blue cities allowing for millions of illegal immigrants to come into the cities, they now require more money from the budget, right? So they require more money, and the budget, instead of going the normal rate of, whatever the amount is for the American citizens' growth, now you have millions of illegals that come in here, and they multiply like rabbits, 4, 5, 7, 10 kids, And yes, while they do pay billions of dollars in taxes, they get a lot more than that in tax returns. If you don't know that, if you have a question about that, how does that work? How does paying taxes, how illegal immigrants paying taxes not help the United States? You can go ahead. If you have a question about that, you go ahead and put it down there. If I see it, I'll let you know how. But here's the big kicker. The Biden administration knows they have no chance to beat Donald Trump. So what do? they allow right now, they just open the floodgates and they say, let's get as many illegal immigrants in here as we can. And the president from Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, I can't remember her, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Claudia, she allowed for 1 million of illegal immigrants to come to the border. Why? Because when they come over here, her people make dollars and they will send money to Mexico, which in turn they can tax, which in turn makes more money for Mexico and less money for the United States. Okay? So nobody's interested on knowing how illegal immigrants paying taxes destroys America. If you know the answer, that's great. But if you don't know, I really want you to ask it, because I want to know if anybody out there is interested to know that illegal immigrants paying taxes is not helping the United States. It's actually destroying it. So go ahead and let me know if you have that question. All right, we'll put that on the burner. If nobody asks me, I'll never remember. But we'll move on. So now that all these illegal immigrants are in here, okay, now President Trump is forced, okay, this is, man, President Trump is being so forced to doing mass deportations, just like there was mass illegal immigration. If you have illegal immigration, then you have illegal deportation. But if you have mass illegal immigration, now you have mass illegal deportations. That's how it works. That's as simple as that. So orange men bad, you know, whatever. I talk to people here. The people here in the island specifically, they love Donald Trump. They don't believe Obama. Now there is some old timers here, because there's a lot of blacks here in the island. There's a couple of old timers that listen to Barack Obama's words today. Number one, because they don't know really exactly what's happening in the United States and how that works. But because he's a black man, and so they relate to him. And a lot of black people here that didn't act the way that they act today, they were not like they are today. They are so influenced by the black people in the United States. And so they have, the black people in the United States has awoken racism since the Barack Obama administration took over. Michelle Obama, the first lady, kept talking about how racist white people are and how afraid she was of white people. What the hell is wrong with these people? You're the first lady. How can the United States be such a racist country? You are the first lady, and you're black, and you are a man. I don't think Michelle Obama is a woman. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I had to say it. Okay. I don't think she's a real woman. Okay. I don't think she had those daughters. They were adopted. They were somebody else's children. I don't know. Until I see a birth certificate that she, from the hospital, that she went to the hospital and gave birth, I don't believe those daughters are hers. Okay. Number one, Michael and Obama. Okay, that's how that is. Michael and Barack. The problem is that here, everybody loves Donald Trump. It's crazy. I know. If you're Honduran and if you're a Latin person and you don't like Donald Trump, I get it. But I'm telling you what I hear here. I was actually in the water, in the ocean, and people laughed when I say, is your Honduran president the best? They just laugh. And I said, well, what do you think about Donald Trump? And they stopped laughing. And they said, well, the news says that he's a really tyrant. He wants to be a king, and he's throwing all these people out. They say, but we live in the United States. We're from California. We're not from the area of LA, but we're from California. And we see all the evil things the Democratic Party is doing. And I'm just like, man, I come all the way to the Bay Islands of Honduras, and I hear Americans from the United States telling me this. That's crazy. You can say it's a small world, right? It's a small world. But this is what we find, And so besides the religious part of it, right? These politicians, these corrupted politicians, they go and throw some crumbs at people that are desperate for food. They're desperate. If I give somebody here in a very poor area $5, to them it's like $1,000. Okay, and it's hard, and I don't want to like be offensive to these people because they're humble and they deserve better, but you know, they almost worship you when you give them money, you know, and that's sad. My mother taught me. Now, I used to be a child here, and I starved a lot. You can count my ribs, how skinny I was. You know, I grew up with when my father was alive, and I'll tell you this story. When my father was alive, and he worked his butt off. We had a nice place to live, a nice little yard with some mango trees, avocados, some guanabana, which I don't know if you know what that fruit is. Even a coconut tree was in there, tamarind trees, lemon trees, you know, and everything was just beautiful. We always have food, we always have money. But when I was about 4 years old, almost 4 years old, my father passed away. And my mother had no way to fend for herself. Now I had older siblings, but they were entitled little brats. And so they look out for themselves, right? My older sister came to the States because she got married with an American that she met through a mission. And then, you know, asked for my mom to come to the States. Now my mom came to the States and left me and my little sister, which is 3 years older than me, and then my two older brothers. Unfortunately, one of my older brothers was in love with his current wife. They live obviously together. But then my oldest brother, he just didn't like me. He couldn't stand me. And he used to beat me and abuse me. And I should have turned out to be some evil guy. I should have turned out to be some gangbanger on the street because I was so neglected as a child. And, you know, he thought he was my dad, but except with the love. You know, he always hated me. And he will beat me until I will bleed. You know, he will grab the ironing cord and just starts whipping me for no reason. Like, I would come from school, like I was an A student in school, and I will come home, and he will literally make me go under a table and drop some live electrical wires on my sweaty back. It was torturous, evil. There was times that he will beat me. He will soak the belt, the leather belts like this wide, right? He will soak it in water so that when I came home from school, he can whip me with a wet, heavy belt. And I was scrawny, guys. I was really skinny. And just imagine a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, scrawny 10-year-old getting beaten and whipped by a heavy leather belt. One time he hit me with an ironing cord and it slashed one of my butt cheeks. I have a big scar, big scar. You know, I tell you this because suffering, it can happen. And maybe somebody has it even worse than me. I can't imagine who, but somebody might have it worse than me. I spent weeks without eating. I mean, if it wasn't for God that was always taking care of me, you know, the neighbor will give me some tortillas with salt and, you know, and I would eat that. Once in a while, a chicken from the neighbor will come into the property and, you know, they will lay an egg and I will eat that egg, you know. Sometimes the neighbor will give me food. Yeah, thank you for your empathy, Bobby. I'm sure that makes you feel better. But I tell you this, not to say that I hate my brother, because obviously this is like, you know, decades ago. I love my brother. But what I'm saying is, poverty is huge all the time. Abuse happens. But what we choose to do makes a difference. Now, this is why I love this country. Honduras is beautiful to me, no matter how poor it looks in some areas. I love everywhere I go. You know what people do when they come into this country? If you're here and somebody's staring at you, because they don't know you, you know, they give you that look, right? They're staring at you. You know what I do when they stare at me? I stare back and I say this, buenos dias, buenas. You know, that's just like a sweet hello, right? Good morning, hello, right? They smile back at you. Oh, okay, he's a friendly guy, you know? And of course, I am not going to go into like, you know, like really what we know gangbangers are. You don't want to go to certain areas because you don't want to provoke them. Even though you won't do anything to provoke them, just being there will provoke them, okay? But in the United States, we have this country, right? This fair haven that we all want to go to. Now, I'll come back to Honduras and I'll tell you what Hondurans here in the island tell me. And it's crazy because even I haven't said that. But, you know, we look at the United States as this beautiful land of opportunity. And what happens when we look at this land, beautiful land of opportunity? We like it there because they don't have the problems that we have. Or at least they don't show it on the news as they show it here. Here, if somebody gets killed, they'll put the camera on without a filter, without censoring, and they'll show that person dead and holes and cuts and whatever. In the United States, they don't. They hide that from you. So it looks as though they don't go through that problem, but they do. And so, I don't know if you guys got misled by the title that I am in Honduras. Behind me, behind that building right there, is the beach and the beautiful ocean of Roatan. And believe me, this is one of the most beautiful beaches that you will see in the world. And this is the west end. No, this is the west bay of Roatan. If you ever come to Roatan, that's where you want to go. West Bay. Remember that. West Bay and Roatan. West End, it's still kind of pretty, but you know, it's less organized. It's not really for tourists. It's more for like party people, and I guess tourists can do that too, but I like peace and quiet. They do have music and all that stuff here. It gets loud, but it's a different kind of vibe, okay? So I wanted to say that before I continue because I'm pretty sure you see the beautiful weather behind me. And that's another hotel across from here. The palms are actually from the hotel where I'm staying on. So going back to the States, we see the United States as the land of dreamers, right? This is where we want to go. But I ask you, we're talking about illegal immigration and taxes. And nobody has asked me anything about taxes. So it is loud because they're doing some cleanup and stuff like that. But nobody has asked me a question about Cape Town beaches is the best. What? No way. No way, Lara. No way. I'm going to tell you, there is no waves at this beach over here. The sand, it's so thin. It's gorgeous. You do need sunglasses because you will go blind. It's so bright. White sandy beaches is not a joke. Unless it's cloudy, then it's more, you know, takeable to the eye. But I can tell you that the beach here is the best that I have ever been in. And I have been to beautiful beaches, even down in Samoa. I'm sorry to my Samoan people, but this is better than Samoa, okay? At least let's just say that, okay? There is beaches in Honduras that I don't think are as good as this. This is like the best beaches ever. And if you haven't been here, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But I encourage you to take a trip sometime, okay? I'm not going to tell you the roads are beautiful. They're doing a lot of construction. But once you get to your location in front of the beach, oh, you will not want to leave. Let's just leave it at that. Tacos. Okay, so the tacos here in Honduras, they're like flautas. You know what I mean by that? They're like the burrito looking ones. So they roll up the tortilla, you know, and then they fry it. That's what we call tacos over here. So it's not the same as a tortilla folded in half. And that is also taco, but that's more like a Mexican taco. All right, so with that being said, fine. I don't know about Cape Town. I guess I'm gonna have to look for it. Okay, Lara, in Cape Town, what is the temperature of the water? And let's see if you can convince me. Tacos are called tacos. So that you distinguish it, we call them flauta. F-L-A-U-T-A, flauta. I reminded him when I see it. Oh man, you got me. Okay, you mean taxes? Okay, taxes. all year round, summer, spring, winter, all year round. What's the temperature? Excuse me. Temperature all year round. If it's winter here, you can still go swimming and the water is beautiful. See, you have to find a season over there. Here, all year round. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I believe the lowest temperature is like 70. So, yeah, you can come anytime. Of course, so, okay, my disclaimer is every season has things that happen. Like there's rainy season. You can still go swimming, actually. Yeah, I agree. Oh, that sucks, man. South African beaches. You know, I've heard too many too many bad things about beaches over there, especially Australia. Just the poisonous animals in the ocean that just throws me off. I don't know, guys. I'm a chicken guy when it comes to stuff like that. So I will jump in any ocean as long as I don't know what dangers are in there. But once I know the dangers are in there, oh man, I'm a chicken. I don't trust my feet anymore. I don't trust that no fish is trying to eat me from behind. You know, I don't know Cape Town. You know, but I'm sure there's a lot of beautiful beaches, guys, and I think the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And I think, to me, that's why I think this beach is the most beautiful in the world, because I like simple stuff, you know, and I enjoy nature. When I come here, I made some videos. I don't know. Maybe I'll post one here just to share with you guys. But I recorded a trip that I took with my daughter yesterday. We went to Gumbalimba, I think it's called. It's like a little park where they have iguanas, they have macaws, and if you know what the macaws I'm talking about, is the ones with the red, blue, and yellow feathers, and there's some green ones and yellow as well. But there is, what was it? There's like a small insect little museum thing here in the same park, and I didn't know that, man, there's thousands and thousands of insects. I mean, I kind of knew, right, but I never seen, and they have all of these butterflies and moths and beetles and all this other stuff. It's pretty cool. But they also have, let me see what else is in there. Iguanas, macaws, white-faced monkeys. They're very friendly, except this one monkey at the end, came on my shoulder, and I'm like, yeah, you know, it's cool. You know what he did? He grabbed my hat and threw it on the floor. I don't know if he didn't like the flag, that little monkey. And then he pooped on my shoulder. I think he did that on purpose. No monkey takes your hat off, throws it on the floor, and then poops on your shoulder, and then jumps back. So yes, I ended up buying a shirt that says, I bought this shirt because a monkey peed on me. True story, by the way. So we did that. The park has all that, and they also have 13 beautiful zip lines, what they call canopy over here. And what I love about the zip lines here in the island of Honduras, I think they have some in the mainland as well, which if I get a chance, I only have a few days left, but if I get a chance, I'll probably do some more. There's a small one in this waterfall that we call Pula Pansac. When I get back, I'll see if I can go visit it before I leave back to the States. But what I like about the zip lines is they go between trees. I mean, you're literally surrounded by jungle, and it's such a good feeling. There was, there was 6 of us in the group, and you guys made me change my conversation, but it's okay. I'm going to share a side story of my experience here in Roatan, and then we'll get back to legal immigration and taxes. You go through these trees, and see, don't tell me that. I still have to go swim at the beach. I did fly my drone one time years ago, and I was swimming just perfectly fine. Water was 80 degrees. Man, I was having so much fun. So I got out of the water, and I flew my drone up in the air, and there was like 10 sharks swimming around the area where I was swimming, being delighted. Yeah, if I would have flown my drone before I got in the water, I would have never gone in the beautiful turquoise, clear, warm water. 10 sharks. It's crazy. Now, is there? I don't know. I don't hear of any like horrible shark attacks over here. I snorkel a lot over here. I have not seen one shark. I'm sure they're here. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I have not seen them come and attack humans on purpose. I think maybe humans sometimes get confused, right, by maybe other creatures that they do attack. And because of the sharpness of their teeth, you know, just any quick movement is gonna tear you up. That's a given. I understand that part, but you know, when you see a lot of people in the water, you just go in there like the rest of them, right? As humans, we have the herd mentality, and so we see people go this way, we also go that way. That's just the human nature. That's who we are. That's what we do. And unfortunately, it happens on everything. It happens on protests. It happens on, you know, choosing who you want to follow in life. It happens in religion. It happens for everything, right? We have this herd mentality where we feel safe. That's where we go. We don't have the mentality of let me think. Let me see. Looks beautiful, but let me see what's going on here before I make a decision to follow this. Most people don't make a decision. They just follow anything blindly, like, you know, that doesn't, I don't know, they don't think about anything. They just do it because, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks popular, you know. So, yeah, getting back to the illegal immigration, Lara or Belly, do you guys have a questions on why it's bad for illegal immigrants to pay taxes? Sorry, I keep doing this because I'm actually getting really sweaty. It's hot out here in the balcony. As beautiful as it looks, my shirt is soaked, just so you know. One of the things that, while I wait for a question, one of the things that I love about videos, but I'm very aware of, okay? If I show you a beautiful scenery of Honduras, at the beach, or in the jungle, what you see is beautiful, and there's probably music in the background. You're like, oh my God, you know, I want to go to that place. It's so beautiful. Here's what you don't see, and here's what you don't feel. Thousands and thousands of mosquitoes trying to eat you for lunch. And humid, hot, humid. Okay, so I will, since I got my two viewers here that are just very loyal to the channel. Let me tell you something. Illegal immigrants, they pay, just to give you an example, and I made a video about this a few months back. Illegal immigrants, they pay, let's say, I think the last statistic was illegal immigrants paid $100 billion in taxes. Now, you would agree with me that that's good, right? $100 billion in taxes helps our country. Would you agree with that? I think most people would. I think most people would agree. I want to see if somebody disagrees with that. $100 billion in taxes by illegal immigrants. Is that a good thing? Thank you, Lara. Okay, it's a very good thing, right? So I'm going to give you this example. I'm an illegal immigrant that makes $35,000 a year. Okay, stay with me. I make $35,000 a year. I have 5 kids. I'm a single father. Of course, I need help. For every child that I have, I got a $3,000 earned income credit. That's $15,000, if my math is right. Now, because of my tax bracket, where I pay taxes, remember, we're in a capitalist country, and the tax bracketing goes to where the rich pay more and the poorer pay less. To the point where if you don't work, you don't pay taxes, then you don't get nothing back either. Okay? But that's $15,000, just one family member, right, with the kids. And I paid $1,800 in taxes. So out of that $100 billion in taxes that illegal immigrants paid, I paid $1,800. How much money am I getting back in my tax return? Because if I'm able to do taxes, I'm able to claim taxes. Now, it's not supposed to be that way. It's only supposed to be for citizens and residents, okay? But this is allowed today. So I know that there was a family in Texas. They got over $20,000 tax return. Do you think that they paid half of that in taxes? Do you think $10,000 of that was paid with $100 billion in taxes to the states? I don't think so. Not even close. Most people that live under an amount, under an amount yearly, they are returned whatever taxes they paid, and then they make taxes according to how many dependents they claim. And not just that, but Democrats are so stupid in the government that they allow them to claim dependents out of the country. As long as you can show that you have sent some money to them, right? Which obviously every illegal immigrant that makes money here wants to send money to their families. I bet you 99% of Americans don't know that. That is correct. Let me see what you got there. 33% student taxes, free healthcare, free school. Free school, we get free school over here. Healthcare, I think not everybody needs healthcare. So it's kind of shitty that, you guys remember the affordable bill from Barack Obama? I don't know you, I could never afford that bill. I could not afford $600 a month on health insurance. Not while my rent keeps going up, not while we have illegal immigrations increasing the demand for housing, which increases the pricing for housing, because the higher demand, the higher the price, right? So if I don't want to use healthcare, what do I care if it's free? Now, don't chew me out. I think it's great. I really do. I really do. And if I ever needed it, right, it would be there. And yes, it could save me hundreds of thousands of dollars on bills, and it will assure, probably, I don't know how much it covers, but it will assure that I'll be taken care of. At least that's my hope. The U.S. convenient takes $2.2 trillion in income taxes. Okay. So $100 billion, yeah, it's a small fraction, but it's even worse of what I told you. Even if half of the people that pay $100 billion get back 10 times what they paid, your $100 billion is nothing. Because the money that goes back to those families should go to American people so that you have less property taxes. And I'm about to hit this right now. You will have less property taxes if we didn't have illegal immigrants in this country. You will have to pay less taxes, period, if we didn't have illegal immigrants in this country. Because of what I just mentioned about all the money that they get in tax returns, okay? The federal one, 4.9 trillion. Yep, you're right, Belisarios. 100% accurate. It's nothing. And I mean, we're not gonna dive into details on how tax system works, but just think about that. So blue city states, I'm gonna talk about Seattle because that's where I'm from, right? I'm from Washington State. They want millions of illegals to come into Washington State, and they do anything to protect them. Believe me, they do anything to protect them. Now, I'm a little conflicted emotionally because, as you and I both know, it's never nice. It's never easy to see somebody being taken away. But we have to keep in mind, they're not being taken away to throw in prison to rot, to punish them. They are simply being sent back home. We'll miss them if they were good neighbors, right? We'll miss anybody that is a good person. But there's nothing wrong with sending them back to their country. And I know this from most Americans, if not all Americans. We are in 100% agreement. Our country was built on immigrants. I get it. Immigrants have built the United States. Now, mind you, at some point there was a lot of illegal immigration, right? That happened. Boom, that got fixed. But what's the problem? If you are allowing millions and millions of illegal immigrants and you say, okay, let's just reform. Let's make all of them citizens. So that way, when they pay taxes, yeah, nice try. It takes a while for any type of civilization to grow at a certain pace. If you see China, 1.4 billion people, I think is what they have. Their money doesn't mean shit. They don't exist as humans to the government. They kill them by the millions and nobody misses them, right? Just think about it. The more people they have in their country, the less value they have for their money because they have to make more spending. Now you think I might be demented and I'm just going crazy, but use your common sense. And if you see that I'm saying something that is not right or I'm saying it the wrong way, correct me by all means. As I told you guys, every time I speak English, I think in Spanish, 100%. And I translate every single time I say a word, I'm translated to English. So sometimes it can be very difficult for me to speak. Maybe I speak backwards sometimes, you know, or maybe I'll pronounce words like there and theirs, right? Like I can distinguish the difference between that sound sometimes, you know, like bull and bowl. And I have to try to make the sounds, but sometimes they sound the same. And I notice this because when I write it as I say it, but I know when I see it, that's not the right thing that I'm saying. So I don't know, it's weird. Sorry about that rambling there. But just think about it. How do we keep control of our country? Okay, for one, Americans need to make more babies. 100% I agree, Americans need to make more babies. Why is it important for Americans to make more babies? It's not so that they can get more food stamps, okay? That's not what we want to have more Americans for. If you make Americans, they will be patriots to Americans. And now this is a very sensitive subject for many people, but it's 100% true. If you have illegal immigrants that hate this country, what country do you think their citizen children will be loyal to? Which one do you think? Do you think that they're going to be loyal to the country where they're born or to the country where their parents are from? I agree, Bill. The Chinese are very expendable to the government. That's sad. But who do you think illegal children will be loyal to? Do you think they will be loyal to the United States or to their parents' country of birth? My firstborn, he's half black. Now you guys, if you guys don't know, I was married previously to this marriage. You know, some infidelities there, not from my side, but you know, things didn't work out. So I ended up going a separate way. But my son, my firstborn, he's half black. And one time I asked him, I said, do you know what you are? You know, besides being half black? Exactly, Lara, you know, it's a rhetorical question for many people that don't understand or don't have common sense, but you're 100% correct. My son says, well, I'm a black American and I'm half Honduran. I said, you are not Honduran at all. I said, I'm Honduran. I'm Honduran American because I was born in Honduras and I became a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. That makes me a Honduran American. I said, your daddy is Honduran. Your mother is American. She's a black American woman. I said, you are an American. You're not Honduran. Now, if you honor my flag, of course, you're honoring your father. I appreciate that. But your loyalty, it's to the United States of America. 100%, period. I believe that we do need to build more prisons, but the conflict for me comes with, okay, so we get rid of all the illegal immigrants. Okay. I notice in some towns where they say that Americans wouldn't do these jobs because only illegal immigrants or slaves can do the job was bull crap. As soon as they got rid of all the illegal immigrants and these manufacturers, Americans filled in the position. Fact. Fact. Businesses will thrive if they hire Americans. If you get in a lazy American, he gets fired. And you know what? We all have a choice. Either you want to be a hardworking person that provides and gives back to the community, or you want to be a lazy bum that wants to be taken care of by the government. I don't want to be taken care of by the government. I want to lift my head up high. I want to be honest. I want to be, have good work ethics. I want to be able to provide for my family. And I want to be able to say that I am proud to be an American. What is wrong with that? This is the reason why we come to the United States. But most people go to the United States, but they don't respect the United States. They hate the United States. So if we don't have legal immigration to happen, if we have illegal immigration to happen, we have all these hateful people that come into our country, and if we allow them to become citizens, what do you think they're gonna do when they become citizens? They're gonna become your worst enemies. They're gonna be the ones that are spitting on your face right now, like Antifa. They're gonna be those one protesters that are causing violence and riots, and they can't stop using the F word for everything that has to do with the United States. That's what illegal immigration does. And we already have entitled little spoiled brat Americans that never got a whooping in their life. Now, I started my story with getting beat down. That's not discipline. That is child abuse. Thankfully, God has taken care of me. And so I've gone a different way of, instead of being violent or a thief or a gangbanger, I wanted to work hard like my mother did. I wanted to work hard like my father did. I noticed the example that my mom told me that while my father was alive, we never lacked anything. And this is in Honduras, guys. This is a man that went to work his butt off and provided for his family. And somehow many people have taken into this victimhood mentality and say, because I am of this color or because I am of this neighborhood, I can never become successful. And it doesn't matter what they do in life. It doesn't matter if they go to school. School is free. It's free. If they go to school and they get an education, they think there's nowhere to go. But that's not true. You see, the government can try to stop you, maybe. But it's up to you if you want to come up in society. And I'm going to tell you that there is a lot of Honduran people that go to the United States and they just want to be like you. They want to respect the law. They want to love their neighbors. It brings tears to my eyes when I think about Americans. And I know you can call me whatever you want to call me in the book. You can insult me and do this. Ida? Yeah, Somalians don't want to integrate. Of course not. Muslims don't want to integrate. Of course not. They want to take over your country. That's what they want. But, it brings tears to my eyes because whenever I think of American, I see all different colors, all different faces, all different types and, shapes of bodies and all this stuff. But what I see is the kindness. I see the smile of that white lady. I see the smile of the black man, that's just a funny guy, and I see my other Hispanic, friends that are also citizens of America. I see all those faces and it brings so much pride into my heart. And not the bad pride. There's bad pride and there's good pride. The good pride is not selfish. The bad pride is, okay? So I am proud of all Americans, and I'm telling you, I love it when I see it. And even here in Roatan, and I get it, right? They're tourists. I'm a jokester, and I get a lot in trouble because I'm a jokester. But there was a group of about 10 Americans. I love this. And half of them got bitten by mosquitoes like me. I got a bunch of mosquito bites on my legs. And half of them didn't get bit by mosquitoes at all. And I said, I hate these people. Why are you hanging out with these people, right? And the other Americans, they were just laughing. I said, get rid of these guys because they're not getting bitten. That means that you're taking all the mosquitoes and, something silly like that, right? And now one of them gave me the look of, who the hell is this guy? I don't know this guy to be making jokes to us or whatever. But they all laughed. And I just felt like, see, that's America right there. That's the non-prejudiced, that's the non-racist America right there. I talked to other Americans on the water. Man, we're just having a blast. And they're from California, and they love Donald Trump. Man, I was like, okay, nobody is going to believe this. But not one person that I have talked so far. No, there was one old man. But the rest of the people that I talked to over here, they love what Donald Trump is doing. And this is what I'm going to say about what they have told me here about Donald Trump. I said I was going to come back to this, and here it is. I asked a group of Hondurans. Now, mind you, these are people that work here. They make a living helping tourists, helping foreigners. They know what is needed in the island for them to thrive, for the economy to thrive. They want dollars. Simple as that. They want dollars, but they don't want handouts. You see what I'm saying? They want to work for it. They will entertain you for it. They will give you, yeah, absolutely, Billy. They will do anything to earn your smile, and they don't get paid for that. But at the end of the day, they collect tips. And I'm a big tipper, especially right now because I do have some money to give. And I tip them very well. And I tip them because, not just because they were doing their job, they were entertaining, but because this is how they earn their living. And what they told me about Donald Trump is all the people from Honduras that go to the United States of America, I don't know if I would say that, but this is what they said. They are ungrateful being Hondurans. I didn't say it, they said it. And it's, my mind just blew up here. And now, I was just like, I talk to people in the States, and most Americans defend illegal immigrants, at least where I work, because there's a lot of blue people there. I'm blue, da-ba-dee, but all right, sorry about that. And they defend taxing. We just got a $9.5 billion in taxes added to to the Washingtonians, and they're just happy about it. I got to pay $700 for tabs. They're happy about it. And I'm like, I never used the transit rail. That's great, but I never use it. Of course, we all have to pay for everything, right? But this is what happens when you have millions of illegal immigrants in your city, in your state. Population is so great. The demand for resources is a lot higher. The farmers cannot catch up to it. So instead of making more money sending international, now they got to provide more locally. And as much as people think that illegal immigrants paying taxes helps, it really doesn't help because they take away more than what they give, just like most of Americans that are in the poor bracket. I still get some money back, so I'm going to say I don't pay taxes, right? But I have paid almost $6,000 in taxes, and I think I got, well, I did pay taxes because I paid over $6,000 in taxes, and I think I got like $1,200 back. And I have 2 children that I can, claim. Well, total, I got 7 kids total. But, most people, they don't pay taxes. They get 5 times more than what they pay in taxes sometimes. So there's that. Let's see. Take a look at what you guys have been saying here. I saw a carpet mill change from all local people working to 90% of, I'm assuming it says illegals? Ingles? I know that the typing on the phone, it sucks. It happens to me too. Yeah, man, I've seen when cities, businesses just lose everybody, 100%. When you have a business that has 100% illegal immigrants working there, that business should be ashamed of themselves. Because they're not helping the American people, they're not helping their country, they are thieves. They are stealing for their own gain. That's just the way I see it. If you can't stay in business, don't do that business. Think of a different business that you want to do. And if you can do a business that can provide work for Americans, support those corporations that do have hundreds and thousands of employees under their belt. and stop being selfish and stop protesting and say, oh, stop, giving tax, breaks to the rich. Dude, if you cannot employ somebody because you're so damn cheap that you have to hire illegal immigrants, you shouldn't be in business. And by the way, a lot of the people, when they charge for their products, it's so expensive. It doesn't matter if they're using illegal immigration. They still price their money like they were paying Americans. So with that being said, hire Americans and make American. Iranians are hardworking in Sweden, in my opinion here. I can speak for, Ida, I believe you, I agree with you 100%. And I'm gonna say this, every country, every culture has hardworking people and has lazy people and has law-abiding citizens or people, and they have criminals as well. The problem with illegal immigration is they are unvetted, they're unchecked. Like, for example, there's this Salvadorian gangbanger. He's one of the hierarchies over there. He's wanted for multiple murders, okay? 5 minimum, in El Salvador. Because of Joe Biden's administration opening the border, he came into this country illegally. Mind you, he was captured and then he was released into our country. These mofos hate our country. Why do we have them in office? It's beyond me. Ilhan Omar, you guys know, she's from Somalia. Her loyalty is to the Somalian president. She brags about how he calls her his girl. What the hell? This is the same woman that married her brother to come into the country illegally. And yet Democrats support that. I don't know why. Iranians are Persia. Iran is Persia. In my opinion, that's what I think. Iranians are Persians. And yes, they are Muslims. But I know that some people get butthurt, right, when I talk about Muslims, because the problem with Muslims, okay, it's the Sharia law. The problem with Muslims is the freedoms that they take away from people. They force women to cover their bodies. They force women to do things that our slave would be doing. Women are nothing to Muslim men, okay? This is why they promise Muslims that if they do something to destroy Israel or American citizens, that they're gonna have a multiple amount of virgins up in heaven. Because virgins, well, they don't mean nothing. They're just a piece of meat that any man should be having fun with, and I'm against that. Entrepreneurs, restaurant business owners, they want to move away from Iran. Of course, they want to move away from LA. They want to move away from New York. That's just common sense. And I know why you're saying that, because see, the Iranian people is beautiful, but the Iranian regime, this horrific animal that they have in power right now, is the complete opposite of what they were just a few decades ago. You know, the Iranians were a lot happier. And this is where I agree with Donald Trump. I think war is a waste of money and a waste of innocent lives. That's Donald Trump in a nutshell. So if you have like a concern, well, why does Donald Trump allow Russia to continue, this war with Ukraine? What do you want? Do you want the United States to go to war with Russia? I mean, we would win, but then we have to fight China. And who knows, maybe we still win, but then we have to fight Korea. And then once we're weakened, then any other country can come in and turn against us. And maybe, who knows, the end of the world. Maybe that's a little too far. I'm sorry, guys. Excuse me. But that's the thing, like you can think, okay, hey, Donald Trump, you should go bomb Russia. If you really say that you're gonna bring peace to the world, destroy Russia, stop them, throw some missiles out there and stop them from hitting Ukraine. Well, Ukraine is not the United States, and Ukraine is not really an ally to the United States like Israel is. And the big difference is that when we hit Iran, we hit them strategically. We just wanted them to stop the nuclear weapon, creation. Ukraine, they were taunting them. Come on, bring it. And well, now they're in this squabble that who knows how long it's going to take.
Yeah, I agree. Not ideal, yeah, especially religiously. Because Persians didn't worship Allah. So, Inshallah, right? Um, you know what? I don't believe in the Muslim religion, but it's so beautiful sometimes. Their discipline, their devotion, and sometimes they almost convince you that Allah is the same Jehovah. And in a way, I guess it is, but not the way that they practice their religion, right? We all know that there's the universal Almighty God out there. But yeah, this is totally different than our God. If you're a Christian, our God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I say that every time that I say, what God do you believe in? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's God, Israel's God. So if you're not Christian, or if you're not religious at all, that's okay. It doesn't mean that we can't be friends. I'm not going to sit there and try to convince you. You can share your views with me, but you're not going to convince me. And I can share my views with you, and I'm probably not going to convince you either. It's not our job to convince people to follow religion. It is our job to love one another, to respect each other. I don't do things that some people do, but I still talk to them. I'm still nice to them. We still get along. But when it comes time for them to do what they do, I separate myself from them. One of the simplest things, which is okay, people can do, is I don't like to party anymore. When I mean party, it's like an animal, right? You want to go party, find some girl, or some guy, or whatever you're into, and then you're going to go do something. I'm not into that stuff no more. I'm not into getting hangovers. I hate hangovers. I've had migraines in my life. No. I don't need unnecessary self-inflicting pain. No way, Jose. But yeah, religious-wise, I think Muslims got a little point there. And, sometimes I think Christians, I don't know, we should be a little bit more combative, but not violent, not going out there and creating riots, and that's stupid. But yeah, so taxes, not tacos, taxes. It's a big thing. It's hurting the United States big time. The economy, it's staying strong because of Donald Trump, honestly. God, I can't remember what president was. And Donald Trump likes this president. There was a president that was all for tariffs. And I believe the reason why he was all for tariffs is that he believed that every foreign country should have to pay for the privilege to do business or to even come and visit the United States of America. And so, that's this Sharia law and this stupid punishments that religious people have is just very, very stupid. But at the same time, you have things like Pride Month, right? You have all these people going out there naked and doing stupid stuff. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed either, So I'm like in a balanced situation where I don't believe religious people should be killing or punishing people. And I don't believe that, perverted, sexually immoral people should be out there promoting that as well. If somebody is speaking out in public and you don't want to hear that, then you can go somewhere else, I think. That's always a reason. When you have all these illegal immigrants coming in and destroying the tax system practically, you have governors like Bob Ferguson, this jackass that we have as a governor in Washington State. He has raised $9.5 billion in taxes. He just raised property taxes. He raised taxes so that we can give more to the schools. And by the way, our schools are failing. I can't believe that there is kids in there in high school and they don't even know how to read. How the hell is that possible? I remember in my time, you repeat that grade. You do not go to the next grade. You got to show that you are doing your work and that you deserve to be promoted to the next step. Now you have idiots, jackasses like Mandami or Mandoni, whatever the Muslim guy in New York is, running for mayor, talking about he wants to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour. Is he stupid? Does he not know what that causes for the economy? Free buses, right? Free transportation. free daycare. I don't understand what. I just don't get it. It sounds nice, right? We all want that. And the people that will vote for people like that are the ones that are lazy, the ones that want a free ride, and the ones that don't want to work, and then specifically the illegal immigrants that only come to this country to take advantage of the benefits. I know that there is a lot of illegal immigration that happens throughout the world, but I heard of this story, for example, I think it was in the UK. They had made some containers, right, into apartments. Very nice. Just enough room for the Muslim people to come in. And the Muslim people were complaining, oh, they put us on these small apartments. And, oh, how unbearable. Go back to your fucking desert. Excuse my language, but go back to your desert. What are you complaining about? They're trying to create a roof over your head that you and your illegal immigrants are causing a burden to their people with their housing needs, and you're complaining to be in this place. And by the way, they are going to get a brand new housing, a house for free for these illegal immigrants. That's crazy. Well, now they see Jesus as a prophet. Before they denied it, they still don't see him as the Son of God, but yeah. Let's see. All right, well, let's read a comment from Christine. Man, I was about to go off on the illegal immigrants in the UK, but it's happening throughout the world, I guess. Let's see, Christine, well, so make it so you have to be a tax-paying citizen to get those benefits. Why do we have to pay to park on roads that we pay taxes to maintain? Okay, you're trying to tell me that these taxes couldn't be used more efficient to where we could get on a bus without being charged or parked on the street without getting a parking ticket. Taxes. If taxes are not paid in the city, if taxes are completely based on just certain people, businesses will go out of business. They just won't be able to afford to pay employees. So businesses got to be able to tax, but that tax cannot be going all to transportation. It cannot all be going just to roads. It has to be divided so that the city or the state has enough money allocated for different projects so that the city can thrive. So you have the postal office, that's very important, right? You have government buildings, they also need those taxes. Our taxes is federal taxes. Just think about it. We pay federal taxes. That means that the money is for the government. And then there is taxes that are added to it. And if you notice when you go vote, okay, we're raising 0.01% for buses. We're raising 0.1% for electricity. We're raising 1 point something percent for this. They raise taxes to be able to put into different things. But when you say you're going to get free buses, free train rides, free everything, those taxes are not going to be enough for that. People need to pay for that service. I honestly think thank you for the compliment, Victor. I've noticed that a lot of Hispanics love to give me wonderful words like, go get a job. I have a full-time job, my friend, and I work for every dime that I make. And I give more to the world than you will ever give. So I don't want to hear that. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. Don't come in here being a culero. I do need to go to sleep, but no. You can't sleep your life away. Ask me a real question, Victor. Go ahead, I'll give you some time. Ask me a real question, and I want you to give me your answer as well. I'll wait for your smart remark. We had a mass immigrant in 2015, and it was only men, and they tried to pay me $500 extra every month to work with them, and they taught me we would give them new phones and expensive clothes. Yep, con artists, they do that a lot. And actually, it's sad, but the government is also involved in that. Oh, you're a social worker, Ida? In Saudi Arabia, people don't have to pay taxes yet. The country's, I Absolutely. They are trillionaires. Even the poor people live as rich people compared to us. But see, we're not there yet. We're not there. If the world will pay their tariffs the way they're supposed to, our economy would be a lot better. We will pay a lot less taxes. And if we had no illegal immigration in this country, our housing wouldn't be as expensive. Our gas wouldn't be as expensive. There would not be that many wars in the world, because the problem is that when you have illegal immigrants, not all of them are here to work. A lot of them are criminals. And when you have criminals coming into your country, they tend to destroy your cities, whether you like it or not. We have gangbanger problems in the United States that need to be taken care of. But until we solve all these illegal immigration problems, they are safe from being prosecuted. I'm sure that they get in trouble when they commit a crime, if they get caught. But that's not enough. There's so many things that the United States has to do. But right now, they gotta stop the bleeding. They gotta protect and do whatever they can to get rid of the illegal immigrants, period. Like they say here in Honduras, those people that went over there illegally, they're ungrateful to be Hondurans. And they actually bring shame to Honduras. And I think I said that before, and I'm glad that I heard it here in Honduras from other Honduran citizens. So I'm proud of them for that. They have morals, they have values, they got work ethics. Not like these losers trying to find a quick buck. Yeah, I mean, you know, I have seen influencers that support illegal immigrants, and they support the radical, crazy Muslim religion. But when they talk about it, they're not even close to what they're supporting. Oh man, that's a tough one. Criminals that people are afraid to work with and expert in their behavior and how to integrate and help them with that. You know what, Ida? Man, that's such a good job. Well done. You know, congratulations. You know, being a social worker, trying to rehabilitate and help them. I'm all for that, 100%. But I'm not all for letting them be free and keep destroying the communities. But guys, it's freaking hot in here. Give me a second. Let me get some drink. Somebody joining the live is like, what the hell am I watching? All right. No, Belle, I think that what she's saying is absolutely fine. I mean, she's not giving, you know, location where she's at or, you know, who exactly she works with. But the example that, you know, to help other people rehabilitate and try to become part of the, you know, citizen working crew or whatever. I don't know if they're illegal, you know, but if they're illegal, you know what's going to happen. They have to get deported. I've asked people here if they would move to the United States illegally, and they said no way. They'd rather struggle here in Honduras, and even though they barely have just to eat beans and rice every day, it doesn't matter to them, because what they tell me is, and I believe this, family together is all that matters. And I'm going to tell you, if my mom didn't leave to go to the United States, two things would have happened. I would have never been abused, physically abused by my brother, my older brother, one of my older brothers. And two, I probably would have never become an American citizen. So would I change it? I don't know. Man, you guys have this before? We have it in the States. These are so good. They might have too much sugar for me though. I'm on vacation, so I don't care. I'm enjoying. Yeah, so, okay, so Trump is the bad guy. But what do we see from Donald Trump? It's slow to attack. He wants to make deals. Even if you don't like him, I guess if you don't like them, you don't care. But I watch all the briefings. I watch all the any type of video that comes that is made from the government or about the government. I like to hear different points of views. I like to see different things happen. And one thing that I have noticed about Donald Trump is how he goes and gets lost in how great America is, or how much greater it can be. When he talks about our ancestors, presidents previously before him, he talks with such respect. He talks with such patriotism. When he talks about the White House, when he talks about the flag, when he talks about the symbols, when he talks about some old decorations that are hundreds of years old, that are in the Oval Office, this might be insignificant to most, but this shows me that not only is he trying to fight for the American people, he also cares about the country, and he cares about how the Oval Office looks, how the White House looks. And I think that in order for us to help people on the outside, we need to first take care of the house inside. Now, this is biblical, because how can you go take care of somebody else's house if your own house is in disorder or a mess, right? So people understand. Let's see. Is that supposed to be like a race baiting, Lara? I think it's great. I don't know if I said it on my last live that I had, but I don't know if you guys are aware of this one. Something came through my X feed, right? And there is this black lady interviewing an African man. Oh my God, what's his name? I apologize. Maybe I'll pin it on the live later once I publicize it. She was asking, where does the white supremacy come from? Like, was it Americans that are racist that made it up? And the African man, I don't know if he's a political figure, a professor or something, he says no, that the word supremacist towards foreigners or white countries was given by the Africans. They said they're supreme to us because they're technology, right? And I think some people, can argue, if a white man says it, they will never agree with it. But this is an African man. And the way that he explains it is, they bring water into their houses through tubes. We almost died just gathering water from the lake next to us. This is why they're supremacists. They're supreme to us because of technology. They say that some of the white people that came over there, they would put dynamite, in behind in the mountains, and they'll rig them so that they can just use a trigger, and they will point at it like it's a gun, and boom, they make this explosion. Africans, even there's a lot of African villages out there that don't have this technology yet, right? And so, the word supremacy comes from Africa, not from white people that said white supremacy. No, it's not about even the white color. It's about the technology. And what I find great about this is that now in the United States, we are a supreme country. And we have blacks, we have Asians, we have whites, we have Hispanics, we have all kinds of ethnicities, all kinds of cultures, all kinds of backgrounds. And that's what makes the United States of America even stronger. And I think sometimes people, get rid of that. Now, I say that because now I want to tell you about South Africans. South African whites. And guys, I don't understand why we have Native Americans here in the United States. Well, I'm in Honduras right now, but you guys know what I mean. We have Native Americans in the United States. I encourage you to go visit the Indian reservations, right? They've been wanting to preserve their culture. Okay, go visit the Indian reservations. The only thing that you're going to see that is infrastructure kind of impressive, if I can say it that way, is casinos. Their communities, it looks like desert. It's just sad. It's not live. No, derpy. It's I know, brother. This is what he was saying, like an example, Yeah, and what do we do for them? Their sovereign land. Their sovereign land. If somebody tries to attack them, guess who defends them? Not them. They can't defend themselves. Their infrastructure is shit. But the United States, the white man that they don't like, protects them. How about that? They're free. Yeah, so man, stop distracting me. The South African people, you can probably Google this and talk and search South African communities and with white people. One of the things that you're going to find is this. They have gone, now mind you, they had a location first, okay? They farmed it, they built it, and they got kicked out of there, right? This is not where they're at right now. They got kicked out of there, and they say, listen. Okay, fine. We're going to go to this area. And they went to an area where you can grow jack squat. Africans can't do shit in this area, okay? So what happens? They start building their small town there. They get water pumped. They get their farming going again. Everybody in there is white, okay? The place where they got kicked out of, farms died. The infrastructure just collapsed. It's really shitty over there. And now that they see the prosperity of the white South African man, that they don't have the greatest technology in the world, but they are thriving. There's no crime in their town. They're happy, beautiful people. And I'm going to say this. I think it was Ida or Lara that asked me what do I think about South Africans coming to the United States? I think the same thing that happened when the first colonies were being built in the United States will benefit from South African white people, because they will come and innovate. They will come and build. They will come and give. They will be porting into the United States, not taken away, not being a burden, not coming over here to destroy, not coming over here to hate the American people, not coming here to destroy the buildings and put things on fire and riot. They come here to build America to be a better place. That is the difference. That is the difference, I think. Now, if you ask me, do I want black Africans to come to the United States? I say yes. And only, well, I won't say only, but the main reason that I mentioned before, a Gambian, an African man that became a citizen, when I became a citizen, this man was so proud to call himself a Gambian American man, or in this case, an African American. They like to use the continent as a description for them, for the race. But he was so proud. And you see, here's the thing. He's not proud that he is proud of the nation that he is now part of. This African man became part of a supremacy country. Not a racist, as most people think, but he became part of it. And that is beautiful. And those kind of people are the people that we want in this country. Because even though South African white men are innovative and they're hard workers and they can build something out of nothing, I believe African men that, like this Gambian friend that I have met when I was becoming a citizen, those people can also learn and they can also give to our country. You remember the old saying, right? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I agree with that. Man, they're about to play some loud music. They play music here for the residents of the pool. If it gets too loud, let me know, guys. Oh my gosh, she's gonna karaoke. Can you guys hear me okay, even with that in the background? With the roof right over our head. Oh, they don't know the song. I might have to go inside, which is probably better for me anyways for the AC. Can you guys still hear me okay? All right, I'm gonna go inside. This was the same people that were drinking Bacardi last night with Coke. All right. We have a mobile live station. So I guess I'll stand from now. So I think it's really cool when we have, let me get here. Yeah. I think it's cool when we have migrants that want to come into a country and want to help. You see, my mother, she said, if we ever came to the United States, we would not be a burden to it. We will come, go to school, work hard, obviously get papers, right? So we waited for our green card, and then we could have, I could have became a citizen decades ago. I just didn't do it until like not much recently. Maybe, I think right after, I think Trump was the one that gave me the welcome to being a natural American citizen. So we'll go with that. So you guys are talking about Africa. Guys, I was talking about the United States, but let's talk about Africa. So Africans call the white man supremacist, right? Is that a word, supremacist? White supremacy, I guess. I don't know how to put it together there. But it was Africans that gave them that name, not because they were white, but because of the technology, because of the knowledge that they brought in to the African communities. Now, I will tell you, I have watched many villages in Africa. These people are freaking tall, like they are long sticks. And they bend down, all the way down to their toes, and they work with their hands so well. Long, big, long fingers, like this long compared to my hands. They're just big people. And that one thing I noticed about them is the stamina that they have for work. They are hard workers, and they do it for a long time, hours on end. And it doesn't matter that they have to work twice as hard to do things on the ground because they're so tall. African people, there's a lot of good, hardworking African people. I'm going to tell you what the problem is with society. That we think that by making or doing something so that these people don't have to work as hard, that we're helping. But we're not. We're hindering them. When you give handouts, you're hurting that person. See, one thing is to help your neighbor and be able to lift somebody up. And another one is to enable them to be lazy. Oh, I have a mess back here, but it's just me and my daughter. I'm just going to share you guys a little bit. And I have 3 beds in this room. All right, just in case you guys do want to come to Honduras and Roatan, I'm going to give you a little tour of the place. It's shameful that I'm so dirty right now, but I'm a tourist. This is the bathroom, shower in there. I don't want to go all the way in there because I do have a mess. I got all my wet stuff from the beach. But what a fun place to be. And man, this lady, I think she thinks she has a good voice. Oh man, she's ruining that song. That used to be my favorite song. I will survive. Man, talking about everything. I also talk about illegal immigration and taxes. Nobody cares about taxes, apparently. Only Lara and Belle. I don't think Africa would be rich. You say, let's see what? Africa would be rich if it wasn't for Sweden? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think that if it wasn't for Western countries, white people, I don't think Africa would have come up on anything. The only time that Africa actually shined is when they were to cultivate millions of slaves in their country, in their continent. That's how they were able to build empires on the backs of the slaves. But nobody talks about that. Let's see. Let me read this because this is something similar to Honduras, I guess. With camel loads of gold and salt, Mansa Musa's net worth has been valued by modern day scholars to be around $400 to $415 billion. Who's Mansa? So, Derpy, you're wrong. Do you think there's only one way for illegals to get help? It's not. Especially on sanctuary cities. They use billions of dollars for food stamps and medical care. In California, they had a budget of, I believe it was 2-point-something billion to help illegal immigrants with food and medical assistance, even housing. But the number was doubled because there were so many illegals. So they had to raise taxes on the people to be able to accommodate for the billions of dollars extra that they had to pay. Oh my God, these doors are not thick enough. This lady is killing me. All right, Belly. Hey, thank you so much for your support. You take care, bud. I appreciate it, Belle. Good comments, good comments. Top 1% of the highest income households paid an average effective state local tax. Yeah, state, that's great. 7.2% in 2023. While the average undocumented immigrant paid a 10.1% effective tax rate in state local government. So you missed the part where I talked about tax returns. Go ahead. Right now it's just a couple of people watching, so go ahead and ask your question. Lara, I agree, and I wish medical assistance would be free for everybody. But the problem when we say that is that encourages a lot of people throughout the world to want to come here illegally, and we cannot send that message out there. It's a national security problem. It's the bottom line. And if you ever know anything about criminals, right, you will know that the gangs and mafias and all these people that are doing bad stuff, illegal stuff, they will kill people to send a message out so that nobody crosses them. It's if you're an illegal immigrant and you get papers right away, what message am I sending the world? Anybody, especially when criminals get here unvetted, anybody that crosses that border can get papers and get free health care and free benefits. It's not good for the country. It will destroy it, as it has been destroyed right now. It's being destroyed right now. Yes, and that is a reason, more of a reason to stop illegals from coming in here. We don't need help with drugs. We don't need help with gang problems. We don't need help with thieves. We have enough of those. We don't want millions of them pouring illegally through the border. So that people that make that announcement like that is just, I'm sorry, man, but that's pretty stupid. Think about it. So you're saying that because I was a criminal at some point in my life, it's okay for you to be a criminal now? No, man. You don't bring more problems to the problem that you're trying to solve. As a parent, any bad decision that I made when I was growing up, I don't want my children to make those bad decisions. I don't want them to suffer like I suffered. But at the same time, I have to discipline them because I don't want them to be spoiled little brats. I want to raise American patriots so that you and whoever else lives in the United States can have a great country to live in. So when Democrats says, let's stop this illegal problem. Let's make all these 21 million illegal immigrants citizens so that we can fix the problem. These people are so retarded. They really think that's the solution? Do they not know that this is why the prices are raised so sky high in our country and how much our economy suffers? For every dollar that illegal immigrants pay in taxes, they get $10 back in refunds. And maybe I'm exaggerating on the number, but I made an example earlier on this video. A $35,000 a year family of 5 paying taxes up to $2,800 a year in taxes because they have 5 children. They get $15,000 back in tax returns. So whatever taxes you think that illegal immigrants are paying, that's not going to help our country because they will take back more than that. Not just that, but they get housing money, they get medical coupons money, they get food stamp money. Go ahead and tell me how much taxes they pay for the city. They don't pay enough because the American citizens got to pick up the tab. They raise taxes on Americans because population keeps being out of control. How can people not see that? I don't understand it. I really don't. All I can say is today I wanted to talk about illegal immigration and taxes, and that's where I stand with it. I told you about what Honduran people here think about, and maybe I'm just talking to the right people because not one of them support illegal immigration. And a lot of the people that have had family go into the United States illegally, they go over there and their families are in shame. Go ahead, sweetheart, come on in. Oh my gosh, I can see why you didn't want to be out there. You want data? Go look it up. You know all these taxes about city taxes being paid by illegals. How come you don't have that data on the documents? There's a government website for your state. Go look it up and see how is it that illegal immigrants are getting benefits. And if you say, oh, illegal immigrants can't get benefits because only citizens do, go ask your governor in California, why does he have to pay $5.6 billion in medical assistance for illegal immigrants if it's only supposed to be for American citizens? Fox News? Okay, I don't watch Fox News over here, but yeah, there's a couple of good guys in there. CNN has one guy in there that's good. I try watching MSNBC. I can barely watch CNN, man. Everything they say is a lie. And not because Fox says the opposite, not because Trump says the opposite, but because I see the taxes that I pay. Yeah, no, I mean, I have YouTube here, obviously, right? So I read and I hear and I watch. Now, here's the difference that you have to understand. If I go and watch a news reporter, okay? Now, for example, okay, so they asked Donald Trump, okay, hey, listen, you said this wasn't your war, but you said that you will also fix it right away. CNN says, oh, Donald Trump is chickening out, right? They call him the, I don't know, the taco man or something. Okay, listen to me. If Donald Trump wanted to, he would have started World War III already. What you don't understand is you cannot get all the news at the same time. You got to take it one step at a time. And things will change. Nothing is written in stone. You will make decisions that will bring an outcome that you might have to retract a certain decision. You might have to change your path on a certain decision. Now you can say, I'm just spewing stuff. Well, yeah, I'm trying to use my common sense. What do you think with? Do you think what your common sense, or do you think what CNN says or Univision says? Everything, and I'm going to tell you this. You can talk bad about me. Yeah, that guy. You can talk bad about me, and that's okay. But what I want you to talk bad about me is something that you know is a fact about me. For example, I use foul language sometimes. Yeah, okay. 100%. Am I perfect? No, not at all. Not even close. Do I love people? Absolutely. Can I reject people? Absolutely. Will I support somebody that doesn't support me? No, most definitely not. Do I want people that are positive, business-oriented, people that care for other people to hang out with me? 100%. Yes, I do. Do I want criminals being around me or me being around them? Absolutely not. So here's the thing. The legacy media hate Donald Trump. And that's okay. Everybody can hate or love somebody. But what I hate about the legacy media, it's that Donald Trump has done good things and some things that are questionable and maybe not so good things, okay? Nobody's perfect. But everything that I hear, especially here in Honduras, from Univision, oh, whoa, that's right, it's not Fox, it's Univision. Everything is Trump, bad man, orange man, bad man, Trump, 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 negative, 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 negative. Nothing about the Abraham Accords, nothing about the deals that Donald Trump made, 13 point something trillion dollars in deals from Saudi and the Middle Eastern countries, the Arabs. They don't say that. And see, that's what I have a problem with. They don't say Donald Trump was the first president that allowed American Samoans to fish out in the ocean where they were evicted from, where Canadians and even China was able to fish, but American Samoans were not allowed to fish on this ocean, which they depend a lot. Their economy depends a lot because it provides thousands of jobs for American Samoans from the fishery, from the tuna can fishery. Donald Trump was the first one to sign an executive order to allow them to do that. And he got praised and he got honored by the American Samoan people. CNN doesn't put that out there. Univision doesn't put that out there. And so this is where I have a problem with the legacy media. You see, everything they say is just negative, and I'm okay with that. Hey, well, President Donald Trump said he was going to do this. It didn't really happen. President Donald Trump said that he was going to do this. It happened. He did it. We see the results. And see, when somebody tells me that there is a peaceful protest going on and the background is lit on fire with people losing their businesses because of morons that are racist, idiots, that don't know how to protect their people or their country, I have a problem with that. So you can go ahead and tell me that I listen to Fox News. See, your big mistake is to mention that I listen to Fox News. That tells me that they tell some positive stuff, right? But if you would have come at me and say, hey, listen, man, Donald Trump has done some good stuff, right? Donald Trump hit the nuclear facilities from Iran, and he did that after they threatened us over and over, and they have been threatening that they're going to kill Americans and they're going to destroy Israel. See, they don't say that. They just say, oh, they hit them and they missed. Oh, it didn't get destroyed. See, that's what pisses me off. We are watching this stuff happening, and then your legacy media is telling you it's not happening. But you believe all the negative stuff that you hear about Trump. What you have to understand is the majority of Americans want illegal immigrants out of our country. Period. I know some people say, well, if you love Honduras so much, why don't you stay over there? Well, guess what? I have a choice to either be here or be over there. And so if I choose to be over there, it's because I am allowed to be there. What's property damage? Yeah, sure. Don't you think that the Democrats would have used that shit when they were trying to put Donald Trump in jail? Go ahead and tell me that. They could have used that to take him out. 100%. They had those files on hand. They had the FBI in their pockets. They didn't use it because it doesn't exist. Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me why they didn't use that information when they were in power. They would have destroyed Donald Trump. Not going to happen, bruh. Not going to happen. They don't have anything on him. They have a picture of him with Epstein. So what? Maybe I got a picture with some guy that did some serial killing. I don't know. Take pictures with a lot of people. Maybe I take a picture at the beach over here with some foreigners and they are criminals in their country. Oh, look, oh, Dennis is involved with the Russian mafia. No, I don't know those people. I saw them here. They were nice. We took a picture. So what? If something happens illegally in this island, what? Because I am here in this island, you're going to think that I am part of that illegal activity? Come on, man. Think. You say I listen to Fox News. Well, come on. Give me some more. They're not hiding it. Well, they are hiding files, but the ones that actually show them, and I really, really hope that they come out in the open. If I am wrong, I will admit it 100%. I don't believe I am. They still have it. So I heard that people want Pam Bundy to be fired. And honestly, I love this lady. I think she's tough. She's reviewing videos, files from Epstein, Martin Luther King's assassination, JFK, all this BS. On that part, I am with you with the frustration. I am with you 100%. Oh my God, it pisses me off. But then I also think about the other things that they have to take care of. Listen, whatever happened in Epstein Island, whoever is corrupted, they will pay. They will pay. But we have to take care of our country, man. We cannot be, just wasting all these resources and time trying to go after things that, who knows if they're facts or not. So right now, we know number one priority, illegal immigration, bro. Illegal immigration has to be taken care of. And then we can continue our battle with violence on the streets, drugs on the streets. The Mexican president protects the cartel. They bring billions of dollars to Mexico. She already doesn't want to pay tariffs to the United States, but they allow the Chinese government to bring a lot of illegal and drugs through the Mexican border. It's what they do, man. You know, and I wish that more people would be like you and ask me questions like that, because it reminds me of things that I'm forgetting. You know, I do a lot of research, and, you know, just like I know the Bible, I don't know in a specific quote unless, you know, I have it memorized or seen it recently. But I do know that to live a happy life, you have to be a good person. No, I think tariffs is a great idea. You have to understand this. So there's two types of economies. The economy that we thrive on, it's money circulating in our country through businesses, through farming. We gotta make products for ourselves. In order for the United States to make products for ourselves, factories, cars, products, vitamins, all that stuff, we can do that here, or I'm still in Honduras. We can do that in the United States, okay? And that is gonna increase some pricing because labor goes up, right? You gotta pay people what they deserve. So we still pay taxes, but when we have tariffs, we are forcing big corporations to stop doing business international where they can use really low, cheap labor and not help the American citizens. When you, see, I know what you're thinking, that you think, oh, the American citizens pay the tariffs. Of course, you pay the tariffs if you are using an international entity. If you are using, like, for example, China, right, India, Vietnam, these are very low labor paying jobs that they make for people, but that doesn't help the American people. Now, see, like for me, and I gave one of these examples before, a car that we pay $110,000 for here, a Mercedes car, $110,000 here in the United States. Would you pay it if you have the money? The answer is yes, because you want a Mercedes car. They're good engines. Do you know how much they pay in Germany for that same car? $35,000, maybe 50. Why they get to pay less? Why do you get to pay more? Huh? And then you buy an American car, it's about $50,000. Most average American probably pays less. You get a $50,000 American car. As soon as you drive it off the parking lot, whoosh, the price just dropped. The car's not worth anymore. It devalues, it depreciates, right? But when you walk a Mercedes off the lot, the value stays. Isn't that interesting? This is tariffs. We have been paying for tariffs. They've been benefiting with money, but we haven't until this year that Donald Trump has put tariffs on them back. Now, tariffs, the economy that helps with tariffs is this. We pay taxes as Americans, so we're going to pay higher prices for products that are made for businesses, etc. But because tariffs are also bringing money into the country, right? Because maybe we want something from, foreignly, right? When we send money out, we send products out to other countries, they got to pay us. And if they want us to pay for their crap, they got to pay us too. So tariffs, even though, yeah, business owners will have to pay a little bit more, because it's not a lot, but you will have to pay a little bit more. That's okay. The American people should support that. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to bring those car manufacturers that we lost in the last few decades, thanks to the Democrats. We're going to get those car manufacturers back. And if a war breaks out, I hope that we have an iron, metal, and all this stuff manufactured back. How did we win World War II? How were we able to make more tanks? How were we able to make more equipment for our military? We had manufacturers here. Right now, China has all that crap over there. So no, they need to be tariffed so that we can make a deal. You see, China has over 1 billion people over there, and they can't sustain the economy with that many people. This is why the United States is kind of suffering because of all these illegal immigrants that come in here. Let's see what you guys thought. Yeah, okay, yeah, I mentioned, right? So, yeah, we pay for tariffs a little bit, but we also get money back. And if you don't live in a blue state, you will notice that Republican states are actually cutting down taxes. There's tax cuts for a lot of different businesses and people. But in blue states, it's the opposite. And the only thing they say is, oh, President Donald Trump's tariffs are destroying us. Let me see what else. I don't know who Ghislaine is. Tariffs on washing machines, solar panels, aluminum, steel, and goods from the European Union and China imposed in 2018-19. Yeah, they follow some of Donald Trump's tariffs. They found that the U.S. firms and final consumers bore the entire burden of tariffs and estimated a net loss to the U.S. economy of $16 billion annually, including more than $114 billion in losses to firms. Go ahead, bro, I like it. And consumers offset by small gains to protected producers and revenue gains to the government. Okay, so if we allow them to benefit right now, it's going to hurt us in the future. There's going to be a decline, but I know that you have already know the stock market is going through the roof. You know that the economy is a lot better today than it was just a few years ago. So for these people that say that we have $16 billion annually in loss because of tariffs, we made $4.1 trillion just in 2024. With the tariffs that was imposed before, with the tariffs that we have imposed today, we're able to make more deals with some countries that were taking advantage of us. Now, I don't care what CNN says, that MSNBC that says that Trump is a coward and he left the G7 because he couldn't stand being there with powerful men. And then what did I say on my channel? I said, I don't think he's a coward. I think he has to go so that he can deal with Iran. And I can't wait to see what happens to Iran now that President Donald Trump left the G7. And what happened? He hit the nuclear facilities in Iran. And with people didn't even know, some Congress women and men that hate this country were upset that they didn't say anything about it. We don't trust those people. To me, they're traitors, number one. But that's the difference. And right now we see that the stock market keeps going up. A lot of people lost some money at first and they got it back and even more. I'm one of them. I know. People's like, oh, well, you don't have a 401k. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I felt it. But I trust that the president that I voted for does what he's supposed to do. And I have actually gained some more than what I had before. So I'm happy with that. So when it comes to that, you have $114 billion in losses to firms, but we have a $4.1 trillion in money coming to the country. So while there is some certain industries that will be punished by some, that's okay. What happened to all the manufacturers that left us? Did the firms make up for it? The $114 billion from firms doesn't mean jack squat for the people. That's for the firms. That doesn't come to the American people. That doesn't help you or me. That helps them. But manufacturing jobs, that helps us. That creates jobs. That creates money. Money that is spent here. If we don't have illegal immigrants over here taking those jobs, sending the money to Mexico, to Honduras, to whatever country they come from, the American people will benefit. And America will become even greater and will become a lot better to be in. You and your family will be taken care of. If somebody tries to attack the United States right now, there's going to be some devastations. But because of the president that we have in office, he will hit back and you will benefit even more. You see, even if you don't agree with me, you're going to benefit regardless. What do I see from Democrats? I wish that I can see that they're working, to help us, Americans, not illegal immigrants, not criminals. You see, this is why I have to think a certain way. It's not that, I'm just listening to Fox. You have to think about it. I told some of the people here, right, when they told me that if Honduras went to the United States illegally, it'd be such a shame, right? And that they're ungrateful Hondurans that don't love their land. I agree, but I say this: what happens if the United States becomes Honduras? Then what the hell is the point to go to the United States and try to work to make it better if we're just going to allow criminals and bad people to go into our country illegally to make it a shithole to where they come from? Look at Ilhan Omar in Congress. She supports Somalia over the United States. How do you figure that one? Let's see. Yes, that's always going to go up and down, brother, but it's a lot higher than it's been. And again, just not all industries are going to be successful. What do you think that China is going to do with all the cars that we don't buy? They ain't going to do shit. What do you think that Germany is going to do with all the cars that we don't buy? What do you think Europe is going to do with all the cars that we don't want from them? No Italian, no French, no Spanish products here. What do you think they're going to do with that? They're going to lose money, bro. And you can't just say, I got 100,000 cars here. I'm rich. What the hell are you going to do with 100,000 cars if you can't make the money to keep building other things? If you can't pay for anything, what are you going to do? Here, I'll give you a car for the electricity this year. Oh, I'll give you a car for... No, they can't do that, man. That's not the way the economy works. It's not the terrorists that do, brother. When we ran on terrorists alone, we didn't pay taxes at all. No taxes on American citizens when terrorists were being respected. When we separated from the British because of the oppression that they put on the people and their taxes, the British swore that we would never, ever be any good in this world and that we were just going to be another shithole, as President Donald Trump calls it, third world countries. You know what happened? The American people didn't stand down. The American people kept fighting, and we kept trying to find ways to trade. Nobody paid taxes anymore. And we became one of the most powerful countries in the world till this day. Bananas. You know, we used to export a lot of bananas from Honduras. I don't see a lot of banana plantations here that much. I think there's a big one in the town where I'm from, but I haven't been driven around that area. I've been visiting areas that I haven't seen before. But I know that the banana exporting is not as good as it used to be. And when you land on the airport in Honduras, in San Pedro Sula, it used to be banana fields all across the side, and now what you see when you're flying in is palm trees. And I believe it's it's called the African palm, because they collect some oil from it, and that's what they're exporting now. But yeah, they don't do much exporting from here anymore, I don't think. I'll have to research that one. I don't remember, to be honest. All I know is that I have seen more African palm trees where they get this oil from than I have seen bananas. If you go up in the mountains, like where I have family that has some properties, they have a lot of banana trees. So not a plantation per se, but a lot of banana trees, and a lot of properties have them as well, but not as a plantation. So I'm not sure how that banana thing is going to happen. All I have to say is that not eating bananas is not going to destroy you. Yeah, you don't have to buy bananas. If they're too expensive, you just don't eat them. It's, you know, most people like to do the boycotting thing. Might as well boycott bananas. Forget about bananas. All right. Any other questions? Derpy, hey man, listen, I might disagree with you and maybe you don't like the way I talk, but I appreciate your comments. I really do. I think Francisco Mahia, oh, sorry, I didn't see the waves. I will say this. When I see people, especially poor people, I don't want to say this, and hopefully, I hope it makes sense. I don't want to say, oh man, that's sad that you have to work so hard. That sucks. Here's some money. Let me help you out. You need my charity because your life sucks, right? That's what I'm saying when I tell somebody that's working their butt off just to make a little bit of money. What's the difference on how I talk to people when I come to Honduras? I know how hard my life has been since I was a child in Honduras. I know how hard it is to make money here. I know how hard the living can be. And I also see how prosperous a lot of businesses are and how prosperous a lot of citizens here are because they work hard. I will come. Now, I will help. I will also give people money when I can. And when I have it, I help people. But my view is when I see people selling stuff on the street, I know it's not easy. I know it's hard, but this is my view. Hey, you were working on the street, man, that's some hard work, but you are tough. You're a hard worker. You, my friend, are gonna make it someday. And I can't do what you're doing. You're stronger than me. You're tougher than me. You know what? How much do you want for that? And you know, and this is the point. This is the moment where I say, okay, let me get this from you, and here, let me bless you with a little bit more. I think that to give somebody encouragement instead of a handout, it's a lot better. And I hope that comes across the way that I think it should be. Make billionaires pay. That's my take. I want nice things and rich people should pay their fair share. We're in a capitalist country. What is the fair share? Tell me what a fair share is, and then I'll give you my answer. What's the fair share? All right, while I wait for your answer, I'm going to give you an example. I heard this when I was trying to be a business, an entrepreneur. This was it used to be called Quick Star. It's one of those Amway things. You guys probably heard of Amway. There was this lawyer. He said he was making like 100,000 something a year, and then he was making he started making $1 million a year. He says, so how many of you make about $35,000, right? Raise my hand. $35,000. And what kind of car do you drive? And I tell him the kind of car that I drive. And he says, how much was it? I said, it was $40,000. He said, so you went and spent more than 100% of what you make a year to get a car that you want. But see, people get mad at me when I pay $115,000 for a Mercedes-Benz, which is about 10% of my income. That's the fair share. They pay more, but because they have more, it doesn't mean that we want them to pay more. See, that's selfish. When you don't bless people that are successful, you are also not going to be successful. You know, when I see a person, like my bosses, for example, some people, they saw the boss, mind you, they have over 500 employees now. Amazing. They saw the boss bought themselves a brand new Tesla. It was only about $80,000 for them, right? They employ almost 500 employees. Some people say, oh, look at them. Oh, they make all that money. I don't make that much money. How come they get to have new things? How come they own a house? How come they own an expensive car and I work for them and I don't make that money? Go ahead and tell me what's the fair share. Tell me what's the fair share that a billionaire should pay. We say we want them to pay the fair share. But, you know, how much taxes do we pay with our shitty job? I'm not ungrateful. I love my job. I need to get paid more, obviously, but I don't. But I am grateful that I have a job. Full-time, by the way, just in case you were wondering, since somebody came in here insulting me about a job. I can't hate a millionaire for not paying more taxes. Yeah, okay. So out of the 40%, out of the 40 to 50% taxes that they pay on $1 billion, how much do you pay in taxes? Just because they have more, it doesn't mean they gotta give it to you. They work hard for it. They invested hard for it. You will. Just give me a sec. I'm almost finished. Yeah, we'll go down to the beach and we'll go swimming over there as well. My daughter is with me on vacation, so. But yeah, I think that's a good place to. They pay a lot of taxes, my man. They pay a lot of taxes. They pay billions of dollars more than any of us will ever pay together. And I think that is very, very selfish to hate those people that are very prosperous. Nothing should be a handout. I think that if you think that rich people should pay more taxes, I will encourage you to be one of those rich people and pay that 50% tax. That's all I got to say about it. If you think billionaires should pay 50%, why don't you become a billionaire and pay 50%? And then when the billionaires don't pay 50% and you are, then I'm going to say, hey, shit, well, yeah, he's right, 100%. Yeah, you're right. But until you become a rich person, you can't judge a rich person. You know, they hate Donald Trump when people donate hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign, but they don't complain when Kamala Harris spends $1.2 billion to run her campaign on donations. $150 million compared to $1.2 billion. That's the world that we live in, brother. So, hey guys, if you have come by this live feed, this channel, I want to thank you. I do like challenges. If you question me on something that I say and you think that you have some facts behind it, you are more than welcome to do some research. I pay, I don't know, man. For my taxes, I think it's like what, 14% is what I pay in taxes from my income. And if I get a bonus, they take 50% out of that. So I will say this. For 22 and a half years, I paid child support. And they were taking 50% of my check. They would take the child support after they taxed me. And I had a full-time job living in my car because I couldn't afford rent. Now tell me that I'm going to support illegal immigration, making my rent go up high. No, I don't think so. I had sacrificed so much in my life to be able to have a little bit. I don't envy any billionaire, any rich person. I do my part, and if I could do more, I would. But just hating rich people, yeah, that's not the way to go, brother. Rich people make businesses. Businesses employ thousands and thousands of employees. Those employees don't have to risk anything to stay in business. All they got to do is say, here's my labor, give me my money. They don't know how much it costs to provide health care for the employees. They don't know how much it costs in taxes to provide for the employees. They don't care how many fines and regulations those companies have to pay to stay in business. There has been billionaires that have gone bankrupt because they were not able to sustain the billions of dollars in capital. You cannot take more money from rich people and think that you're going to create jobs. Rich people need more tax cuts so that they can pay us more money and keep us employed so that we can pay taxes. Little by little, in one way or another, billionaires are paying more in taxes because they're providing more jobs for more people. And I'll leave you with that, man. I appreciate it. I will go spend time with my daughter. Thank you for that. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. You guys be safe and be blessed. Till next time. I will try to pay more taxes, my friend. You all take care. Peace.